Hello and good evening, everyone, and welcome to
The truth
Behind
behind
the
the truth.
Truth. We got Atlanta's best kept secret in the mix tonight
Yes,
again.
hey
We miss
Charles, how you
him.
doing?
That's our. He ain't a third wheel. He's a third hand. He is. Let me give my brother some accolades, even though I'm not his child. But I just want to say, because we're going to talk about Father's Day just a little bit, but I want to say to him, thanks for being a great dad and a great example of being a great dad. You got 4 children, right, Charles?
3.
Three,
Well,
okay.
3 and 1 we don't know if it's mine or not, but it's all good.
Oh, a mess.
Well, we gonna leave that on the other side, right?
Hey, the truth shall set you free.
Hey, that's the truth behind truth we don't need to know about right now. Okay?
Hey, it's out there now, so it is what it is.
But
hey, you're not the only one in the boat of not knowing. So.
Yeah, well,
hey, if you like me, my kids know, my ex-wife know, my parents know. Hey, I'm 100. I tell people that all the time. I'm honest.
Right.
I don't do all that hiding, sneaky, secret stuff. And I'm out in the open.
I mean, I don't even know what's that for. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I mean, because you know what you did when you not you, but you know what you did when you laid down.
That's it.
You know,
some people don't know.
Oh yeah, right. They're from Charles. They're from the pull-out syndrome.
Oh,
I pulled out. Okay.
I heard that.
Yeah, right. You pulled out. Yeah, you pulled it out all right. Ain't no way you just pulled out and all of a sudden the baby showed up.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, like, share, comment. We need you to help subscribe.
Exactly.
If you want us to talk more on these topics, please let us know.
About pulling out, okay?
The pull out game.
That's right.
But yeah, we do want to salute all of the great fathers that are out there at this point. And sometimes fatherhood is hard. It really is, because there's such expectations on. Yeah, I know. Such expectations on. And fathers get a bad rap. You know, I mean, a lot of them deserve that bad rap. Don't get me wrong now. I mean, a lot of ladies have been fathers and mothers and aunties and grandmamas and everything else. And I want to take that from them at the end of the day. And I think sometimes it's just that women are equipped in a lot of areas, to just jump in there. But at the same time, there's a hell of a lot of single dads out here. And somehow they get pushed aside, and things like that. And if you are a single dad, just so happen to come across the show tonight, we celebrate you as well. And honestly, if you declare you being a single dad, you will get a lot of help. People are willing to help even more than women, and which is surprising, not because they figure that the situation with men and fathers, that they don't know how to do things. So the extra help is kind of somewhat available. I remember that when my own son was a single dad before he got mixed up in that shit that he got mixed up in later on. But he had a lot of helpful sources. I mean, a lot of them were friends of mine and things, but he had babysitters and things like that people that were willing to be able to do that and help him out. So, and some governmental funding, because there's a lot of ways that not profitably, but support, that's out, especially financially, with for a lot of men. So, and since we're on the subject, celebrating the LGBTQ community and those that are becoming double dads and double moms. Okay. And it's a lot. And typically Black men are taking that responsibility in the LGBTQ. I know some of y'all, you can't no gay man raise no child. Well, yeah, you can. All right. I mean,
who can raise children these days? I mean, at the end of the day, who can do it? I mean, hardly nobody is not doing what it needs to be done, because you're seeing how the schools are operating right now. So who's raising the children?
Right, absolutely.
I don't, it's just, I mean.
Well, I believe the children are our future. Let them lead the way.
But then, people don't have time for the future.
This is true, because I'm going to tell you, if some of these children that would had same gender moms and same gender dad, they would have not ended in a lot of places that they ended up in. And please, for the record, do not think because it's the same gender family raising them, they teaching a child to be gay. Okay.
I mean, say what I always say.
Same sex,
same problems.
Absolutely.
No matter what it is, you all gonna have the same damn issues.
Absolutely.
Who don't want to stay away from the boys, a son who don't want to come in at night. Everybody's gonna have the same problem. Don't give a damn how many parents, how many grandparents you got.
Absolutely.
Being a dad is a thankless job. I tell my kids that, and they go, "No, Daddy." Yeah, because I see on Mother's Day you celebrate your mom, put up pictures and stuff. Father's Day, you call me late. Happy Father's Day. I'm like, gee, thanks, I appreciate it.
Right.
Ain't no gifts, ain't no celebrations.
You know, ain't no planned dinner events and and everything else, and shutting down the restaurant because the dad's coming in. Oh no, that don't happen. But but the last part about that, same gender is raising children. Some of these best children, you'd be surprised, that are coming forth now have been raised by same gender families.
I mean, it just depends. It depends, to be honest with you, on the circumstances. Because to be honest with you, it's like one over the other. You got to have time and patience. And I don't have children, y'all. Please bear with me because I shouldn't even try to give advice.
But let me give you a little your flowers, okay? Because you stepped in on what would be considered our grandson, however you want to necessarily put that, and you tapped into just I think nurturing part of who we are as human beings. And you found that place, as a man to be nurturing, to bring this young man back from almost from the point of death, and it wasn't anything that you had a book to read, or that you had a guideline, a step-by-step chapter or whatever. You tapped into your dad instincts to be a dad, granddad, mama, whatever label that you wanted to put on that. And to this day, Jeremiah salutes that opportunity, because he came to us we shared the story years ago about what happened with him. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but just real short, that my grandson / our grandson or whatever tried to commit suicide. And as a young African-American man, going up, being under that surmountable amount of pressure to engulf that part of, one that been around, but to saluting to him because he found a way to reach him. Okay, whether it was getting on the floor with him, having conversations, playing a game with him, to getting down and doing school projects late in the hours in the morning, he was right there. So I love you for that. I know he loves you for that. And back then I told you 100% over. So don't anybody ever doubt or put doubt on what can happen, in a loving home, regardless of it being traditional, whatever you want to label it, you want to put on it and do it, because it comes from here and it comes from a deeper place, and wanting to see that child or that young person be able to be successful and have a right place in humanity. Bottom line. All right, let's move on. Thank you again, guys, for celebrating being great dads that you are. We love you. We love you. We love you. And hey, hopefully that you do have a great relationship with your offspring. And if you don't, work on it. Okay, work on it. But it's a two-way thing. Young people, you got to be working on it with your dad as well. All right, let's move on. What are we going to talk about first?
Whatever. What is there to talk about?
Well, hey, we got this whole list of videos and stuff.
Well, let's start with the first video. Yeah. What's the first video? Let's go with the first video.
Let's go with the first one.
All right, here we go.
See what is happening.
Let me ask each of the mayors, just yes or no. Have any of you been made aware of any immigrant that has had 34 felony convictions that has still been able to roam around in your cities? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
34 felony convictions.
No, Congresswoman.
From the immigrants. Anybody?
I'm not aware.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious because we are so concerned about crime, and I know that my Republican colleagues would never want anybody with 34 felony convictions roaming around because that could be a danger to the community, but I will move on.
And honestly, she's really shaking up the House ethics committees, at the end of the day, and putting people on blast as to what they're doing, just like she said then. And she's good focusing again these people about what this man in the White House has done and what he's guilty of. How he got away with this, I don't know. I mean, now that there's so many stories, I know you don't.
We know.
But we know. We really know, but we don't. It's on the alleged side of everything now.
No, it's called the amnesia of and then on top, amnesia is number one,
right?
And on top of that, we are going you know, and I said this, I haven't said this, but I said this to you before the show about what Cornel West says. With, you know, America's on it's on the decline morally. This country is morally on a decline, and the fact is that this man can get away with that is really what it's all about. You know, it doesn't even matter how he got in. It's just the fact that we allowed it.
Well, yeah,
and money and assets, and we live in a country that's based on
fear.
No, that too, but you know, it's all about worshiping people with status. We're a status-driven country, and to some people, he is of status because he's a businessman, and he has money, he has a name, he has influence, he is a product. He is who he is. He is Donald Trump. And you talked about this because you had mentioned this because of the fact that, you know, as early as the 80s, 90s, and up until now, you know, there were certain shows that featured him. Even Fresh Prince featured him. Even, you know, Home Alone gave him a feature.
And our Golden Girls.
And Golden Girls, too. They brought out the name Donald Trump because he is a product. So people look at that, and yes, he got away with what he could get away with because in this country, people with money and assets, and let's take it off Donald Trump. Let's talk about most celebrities who can get away. And you know, I said, you know, this situation with Puffy, which is another situation in itself, he was able to do what he wanted to do. But, you know, at the end of the day, he's in court doing what he has to do to save his product. These people have been doing dirt for a long time, and yes, they have been getting away, and they are able to get away because average American people who put money behind this crap and behind people like this have allowed this. So yes, he was able to do what he wanted to do because of the backing of people who believe in that type of worship.
That's true. Absolutely.
All right, then I'm off my soapbox.
Go ahead, Charles.
Oh, I can't say no more than that.
Okay.
You know, R. Kelly is trying to get out of jail again. He got out to go to the hospital, but he's still trying to go home to serve his time. He ain't gonna serve 30 years at home. It's just
well, that ain't gonna happen.
Nah.
You know, in power and access, regardless if it's him, Jeffrey Epstein, you know, and all these other situations. I did Charles did a wonderful piece on human trafficking, you know, which I was blessed to be able to be his narrator for that particular project that he did. And you know, maybe we can get the link for it sometime next week, Charles, and we kind of let them go and take a look at it, because it is a serious situation, especially among young women, and a young men, you know, at the same time, you know. And we think that because girls have this, you know, this inundating. Not a need, but what am I looking for? They're sought after for all of these sexual reasons. I'll put it that way. But there are young men that are just as much, you know, being sought after in this. And we talk about Washington and the things that go on in DC area, as I mentioned on the show quite a bit, is that if you are a page, which is the one that kind of is like the runners in Congress, you know, so they're in and out of senators' offices and things like this. And usually what they choose is the college people or the college kids.
Well, they're interns.
Well, some of them are not. They just work at pages for a job to pay for that tuition, but they're not quite interns being in a political side of what I'm trying to say. But I had a buddy, great buddy, he's on the other side right now. And he was a page during time that he was at Howard University. And he just said, man, they are a mess up here, you know, on the Hill, you know, and what they do to these pages and getting them these offices and, you know, and things of this nature, you know. So it's just like our drug situation, the sexual situation and abuse of people have been going on forever.
Abuse of power,
you know, again. And, you know, it's the same way where it's everybody else's, it's not their fault anymore to say no, but yet they have been the ones that have been causing the drug problem that has always been, because they make money from it. Because how many times can, you know, Charles and I know you remember a little bit of this, but Charles and I remember going through high school to say no to drugs, say no to drugs. Okay. So we said no.
We had the badges.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So we said no, but it grew. You know what I'm saying? The problem grew. So it couldn't have been us not saying no to the drugs at the end of the day. It was already a problem, and it's been a problem forever, you know, and it's still going to be a problem forever at the end of the day. until we find a better way to deal with it, and that's the right people in place. But anyway, go ahead with your next point. I'm sorry.
Well, I was about to say it will be a problem until we as people deal with our mental wellness, which causes that is the number one situation that causes certain addictions. It's the fact that we all go through life with traumas, but in order to get through that trauma, we need something to numb the symptom.
Okay.
And the symptom could be either food, drugs, sex, whatever. It could just be whatever is a vice to numb you. People use sports, people use their jobs, people use whatever they can to numb situations. Until we can get to the bottom of the situation with mental wellness, you can cut through the drug situation. But yeah, I think it will start at the top. But then that is along with pharmaceutical industries, because see, that's another situation nobody likes to talk about. Pharmaceutical industries is the number one drug use,
drug pushers,
because it's prescribed by a doctor. And I hate this. Hey, throw this on our Caucasian brothers and sisters, but they are the number one usage of that, because we as Black folks, some of us cannot even afford that type of to just go and get medication. I'm just saying it. This is the truth. People talk about why do we need Obamacare or what you call it? What's the name for it? But you know how they like to throw Obamacare out there.
Affordable Care Act.
There you go. Affordable health care. That is one of the reasons why we all should have it, because a lot of us cannot even afford medication. But off of that topic, but that right there is the situation, the pharmaceutical industries. Not you can talk about the drugs on the street, but I feel the number one issue is the pharmaceutical situations, which I hate to say RFK Jr. trying to cut through, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, because I mean, you're going to have a gun to your head if you're trying to go up against that type of beast.
It'd be different if he knew what he was talking about. He's too much of a conspiracy theorist. He doesn't have a medical background. There's just too many intangibles in there to make him worthy of that position. He has no redeemable qualities to help him judge medicine or any of that. None.
Well, but that's the play of the whole administration right now, because none of them have any viable qualities to be in the position that any of them that are carrying at the end.
Who can afford fentanyl? Who can afford oxycontin?
Actually, you don't have to afford it. I just found out today. Well, yesterday I found out that what they're doing now is they're taking prescription drugs and they're taking dispensary marijuana and they're sprinkling it on there, trying to make more addicts, and they're reselling it to people. People on Amazon, they'll buy anything if it's cheaper, so they'll go in and purchase it, not knowing it's a third-party distributor, and boom, there you go.
Yeah, well, it's like you said earlier. I mean, drugs is the number one thing to get, people addicted, to a situation. It is. I mean, because for whatever that reason that it is, but that's a war that we've been fighting for a long period of time. At the end of the day, and like you said, there are other vices, but unfortunately, it dates back to the eons in Hollywood and everywhere else, where morphine was the key operative for back in the early.
The beauty industry. You talk about you're talking about the beauty industry as well, along with gym rats. A lot of we always talk about cancer. People who you would think are the most healthiest people in the world, but they all of a sudden have all this cancer.
Right.
But then you have to think about it. You bodybuilding all day. You're trying to shred. You're trying to dry out. What do? You smoke marijuana all day to get to just to shred and to dry out to the muscles, so you won't have to be eating constantly. People don't understand there are ways that people do things, and that is the darkness of everything that we look up to or we subscribe to.
Right. And
we want to look like these people, but how do these people go about doing things? And being these gods and goddesses, or these influential, or this is what we have to sometimes assess and say, you know what? Hey, whatever that's for them is for them, but what's for me is for me. I just can't do it. I don't want to be a part of it. But I hate to say it, but we do have a culture that likes to subscribe to everything that somebody else is doing. Yeah. And I wish, like you were singing that on the show, The Greatest Love of All. I wish we could believe in that. That would be the greatest utopia, to love ourselves. But we don't love ourselves enough to not subscribe to what Beyonce and to what Donald Trump, to what Prince William or what. We want to be these people so freaking bad. We want to be people who do sometimes nasty, dirty, trifling stuff.
Right.
Even Kanye West, we want to be that.
Right.
It's just that's the way this culture is set up. And I hate to say it, you said it from the very beginning. How can a man with 34 felonies get away with so much crap?
Right.
Because we subscribe to that crap,
right,
and we put money behind that crap,
right,
and we're gonna hey, until we start really assessing what makes these people popular and say to ourselves, what are we doing?
Right.
What is the point of all of this? We're giving all this money to we can't even afford certain things within our own situations, but we want to give money to this.
Right.
Okay, I'm done.
No. But you're very true. I mean, you know, and
truth behind the truth. That's all.
It's definitely a huge problem, you know, and it has been. This, you know, oh my God! And just in life, we have so many layers of things, and you kind of have to step back and say, what do I take on as the first time? You know. Reacts to something else, something opens the door for something else, and the list goes on. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to our next little video clip here. This is another one of the reasons why we're talking about what we're talking about, mental disorder.
The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in, and I would say that was a mistake, because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in, and you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to exercise my role, if you will, as G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues.
A quick fact check there. Justin Trudeau was not the Canadian Prime Minister when Russia was expelled. It was Stephen Harper. The New York Times spoke with John Bolton, Mr. Trump's former national security advisor, about the president's comments. As the Times reports, quote, Bolton said Mr. Trump's multiple calls for Russia to rejoin the alliance indicated his lack of knowledge about the history of the bloc. Mr. Bolton accompanied Mr. Trump to the 2018 summit, where a memorable photo emerged of Mr. Trump seated across from other world leaders with his arms folded in defiance.
I tell you, that's a Norman Rockwell painting. It was fascinating yesterday. Fascinating, I guess, is one word you could use. Fascinating yesterday that the president continued to talk about and lobby for Russia's admittance, Putin's admittance into what would be the G8 when he was kicked out for invading Crimea. And now these pleas by the president being made, or these complaints being made, at the same time he is killing more residents of Kyiv in an overnight attack and bombing hospitals in Ukraine. Again, a very strange, bizarre time to start talking about readmitting someone who had been kicked out in the first place for breaking treaties and invading Ukrainian space. And also bizarre too, because Vladimir Putin has you know, he's embarrassed Donald Trump. And Russian state television has had fun at President Trump's expense, and yet he's still lobbying, using his position as America's president to lobby to get Putin and Russia back into the G8. So I'm sure, again.
But to be honest with you, I mean, this is what they voted for.
Right.
The misinformation.
Right.
The fact that he is going to still go out and say these things without any type of repercussions. And it's just, that's the mediocrity of this man. This is the culture of mediocrity anyway. True. I mean, he represents mediocrity. He represents a legacy of mediocrity. He does not care about information. As long as he looks good and he sounds right, that does not matter what information he puts out there. And on top of that, you know, he said when he was on the campaign that once he becomes president, that all this stuff would have been done and over with. No, this has proven him wrong time and time again. World peace has not come to the world since he's now been president. He said he would stop all of this. He said he would stop all of this Russia and Ukrainian mess. It has not been stopped.
Right.
All of this stuff, with all of this stuff in Gaza and Israel, this would have been stopped. No, he is not doing nothing but causing havoc and causing distraction because he needs this. He needs the attention in the worst way.
That's true.
And that in itself is not good for us on the world stage. But you know what? This is what y'all wanted. Some of y'all who are just playing games out here in these streets. Because see, when people voted for this man, they weren't being real. They were being fun. They were being funny, playing with people's lives, playing with people's jobs, playing with people's families. It wasn't. You voted for the fact of being hateful and spiteful and for the misinformation. But when the shit hits the fans, I can't wait too, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Well, just adding to what you were saying, it just saddens me that even at this point, when the truth behind the truth is being unveiled about this person, people are still refusing to believe it.
It's okay. It's all right. It's their right to not want to believe. It's okay.
But when the man is telling you out of his mouth, that's the part that doesn't get me.
It gets me.
I
understand it. I understand people when you do not want to believe that is the truth.
Right.
That is the truth. That's like a woman that's been raped. I've been raped. She'll come and tell you many times, I've been raped. Look at my scar. Look at this. Well, I just don't believe he could do these things. He's a pastor, or he's a politician, or he's a teacher. He's a great man in the community. I just don't believe this type of stuff. See, it's just the fact that this is the justification of people who just don't want to believe that this man can tell lies.
Wrongdoing.
But then there's an agenda to all of this too.
Yes.
And it's okay, because at the end of the day, all shit's going to hit the fans. Yeah. Go ahead, Charles, if you want to say something, because I'm off.
I see you on a tangent. I'll let you go.
I'm trying to get off of it because I don't want to prolong the subject.
No, the thing about it is there's not enough empathy in the world as it is. We don't understand each other. We don't try to understand each other. We don't consider the fact that other people are going through things. I deal with people every day going, why me? Why me? I'm going, why not you? But then while you hollering, why me? I'm going through stuff too. You don't care about me. It's why you? When you gonna get a change? When your stuff change up? Like, man, things are hard for everybody.
That's right.
Nobody picks you out and says, I think I'll give you misery. And I think I'll give you a broken heart. No, it don't work that way. Things happen in life as we go through it. It's a journey. And we're gonna have roadblocks, obstacles, and U-turns. But those are the things that's part of this life. You don't get easy. Everybody else gets what they want. No, they don't. If you ask any of them, they got something, but it wasn't what they wanted. They got something. That's all it was. We all deal with what we get.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean,
I didn't want this. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't want this. I didn't want this life.
Yeah.
All I wanted was for us to live in some stability and for us to get along, regardless of the differences and what makes us unique. I wanted us to, at least all of us on the spectrum, live on equal playing field. But then you have people who voted for that. They don't want everybody on equal playing field. They want people not to get married. They want no abortions. They don't want men to have this, women to have that. You can't have this type of home, this type of job. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to survive out here. But then you got fools out here voting on agendas. And that's messing everything up for all of us who are trying to live and pay our bills. And that's not fair. So I would vote for this. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
You're right, though. You're right.
That is a truth behind the truth. One moment in that, and it is. I mean, but as always, in your points, it always comes as a wake up call for everyone. And I guess I don't understand why people don't even listen to what we're saying.
They
we become
but
there's a point in this point, because the reality of this is that there's a personal responsibility. And if you are negating or avoiding your personal responsibility and keep blaming it on somebody, how God's name in this case, how is anything going to ever change? How is it? But anyway, we're gonna move on, because my point about saying the God part is this next clip that we need to bring up about these people, where they are.
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
Je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
Ce que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est Dieu.
God.
C'est le Dieu puissant.
He saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
C'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And
Jésus, il revient encore.
And He's got plans.
Il a de plans
and purposes
et le dessein
for each one of you.
Pour chacun de vous ici.
And for me.
Et pour moi aussi.
So can you believe this? Yes, you can. You know, a person's past typically dictates their future.
Thou shalt not kill.
Well,
right?
anyway, okay, we ain't going there just yet. All right. So this man, you know, has just did complete levels of corruption, you know, and just a heartbeat has killed 2 people. But you jumping around on somebody's stage, you know, at a black church, or an African church, all right, jumping around on a stage, talking about how much you love Jesus, and you just turn around and shot 2 people. Okay. People, I understand. Yes, you know, those of you that go, oh, you can't be coming against the church like that. Yes, you can, because these are the influences of what happening to people's lives, and you're assuming that this whole thing has got to be about God's disciplines, and it's not. We've got to stop that. This is an individual walk with God. All right, at the end of the period. At the end of this darn fool, jumping around the church, and in a heartbeat, turned around and shot 2 people dead. Dead.
The senator and his
wife. And fatally wounded 2 others. Went to these people's house. So God told you to plan that assassination attempt. Well, that's not an attempt. What you did. Come on, people, really? And we accept this. We accept this, evangelicals. You know, we accept this. Why do we accept this? Why are you? Oh my God! To me. You know what? Let me say something because I'm getting ready to say something I shouldn't say.
Well, thou shalt not kill.
Well, but that thou ain't working.
Well, it never worked.
You know,
when has it worked?
Okay, but go ahead.
You had people who got out of church, went on picnics, and lynched a whole community of people.
That's true.
When has this never stopped? And to be honest with you, he thought he was doing God's will.
How can you be that damn stupid? I mean, I understand. No, I'm just saying, but I'm throwing it out there as a narrative. I know what I'm saying.
Say all that. I
because the Klan thought they were doing God's will at the same time, but that's just damn stupid. That's just damn stupid, period.
More atrocities have been committed in the name of religion than anything else in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's atrocity. You know, and you know, and this is what bothers me so much. And I get on these soapboxes. I don't give them soapbox. I just get to in the place of telling the truth behind the truth. And I do not like the pushback that I get from people by telling the truth behind the truth, because it is a reality. It is a behavior. Okay? And these behaviors are emanating from a place where people should be feel whole and safe from. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but they're not. You can't even go to church anymore. I mean, well, you know, back during the civil rights, when the 4 beautiful young girls got killed in the church, it wasn't there. So, but somehow in the world of Christian, they have painted this picture that this brick and mortar is supposed to be the safe haven for people that believe. It is not. It never has been. You know, somebody put a comment out there the other day about somebody said, well, you know, the house of God should not be touched in certain situations. Oh, what?
It's been touched.
I know.
It's been touched.
But I'm just saying, where do y'all get this understanding from? Read, people. Read more than one dang on translation, okay? King James ain't the translation you should be reading in the first place, okay? Stop reading this garbage that has been man-infused to justify man's behaviors and not what God wanted for humanity. All right, just stop all this shit. You know, this guy could have said shit, but I'm gonna say shit because I want to be respectful.
Well, my thing is, nobody from the president's team not even put out on social media about the death of this senator.
Of course not.
Nor have they even put out any notice about the fact that this tragedy has happened. You know, it's very telling for those people who are of any type of Christian faith to support somebody who thinks this is all a game at the end of the day.
But you know,
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that this man believes in God and goes shoots people. I'm not surprised. I mean, how many Buddhists have you heard? How many people who worship Buddhism are who go out and kill people? I never heard any Confucius. I know of Islam. I know of people who are of the Islamic faith who have committed crimes and stuff like that, but in other Christian faith too. Right. But it's just so sad though at the end of the day that this man can get up there and say what he said and still disavow all the teachings that he was saying about, especially of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill, and all this adultery. But you go and kill about a wife and a husband in bed in the wee hours of the night. A coward at best. You shot people without a fight, so that makes you a coward. And a lot of these people are just cowards. But then on top of that, they think they're doing God's will by just not only killing people, but on top of that, trying to who will put this type of faith on a man. But they gave Trump millions of dollars for his reelection campaign. Right. And I want people to realize these were not only white folks; they were black folks too. Right. You supported Miss CeCe Winans. I'm sorry, I'm gonna put her out on the jump street. If you love CeCe Winans, you better ask her about her political affiliations.
Some of the Latinos and Cubans for Trump, they are now in detention
These are people who will tell you they love and they love you as a human being, but behind closed doors will vote you out of a house and home, out of a marriage, out of a job. Because I'm gonna add this: every federal worker that got fired were black.
Yeah, the largest number were black females.
A lot of black females. Right. But then you have to think about it. A large percentage of black middle class people within these United States are federal government workers. Discount that, because and that's the thing. You voted for this. You wanted this.
See, they didn't vote.
Yes, they did.
For truth.
Yes,
Hold on. They didn't vote for truth. They voted for an agenda. Okay, and they thought that agenda would be pushed. Whether that agenda was to stop LGBT rights, was that agenda to stop marriage between two consenting adults in the way that they want to get married? Was it to stop abortion? Was it, what I'm saying? So they voted for these, and then at the same time they tried to mix this with their idea what Christianity should be. So we've got a mixed bag of shit that happened at the end of the day. So, but you got these people that have some sort of fame, as you stated a minute ago in this. So they're behind this quote unquote political agenda, which it should have never been. That's why the founding forefathers and Charles so eloquently says all the time, church and state cannot mix. Okay, it cannot, and it needs to stop. That should be the legislative law that gets passed. Stop mixing church and state.
Or just start taxing them.
Well,
yes, absolutely.
Start taxing the churches. Start taxing them, because it's not supposed to. It's a tax, not tax type of situation, non-tax situation, platform.
Right.
But until they start doing that, they can say whatever they want to say and be affiliated with any type of party they want to be affiliated. You just got to start taxing the churches. If the American people want their religion to be behind a politician, pass laws that will allow the federal government to start taxing these religious associations.
501.
I would be down for anybody who would want to support a Democrat or Republican, being of a Christian, a Buddhist, or a Muslim, if they just start taxing you. But if they're not taxing you, stop allowing these politicians to get up in your pulpits. I'm sorry, Charles. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're right, though. Citizens United started all that when the Supreme Court said that corporations are people too, which they aren't. So they gave the investments of all these corporations to throw all that money behind politicians, and they sucking it right up. The sad part about it is I tell people this all the time, and it may hurt some feelings, but I will never be guided by the fear of hell or enticed by the rewards of heaven. You can't put me in that middle.
Right. Say that again, Charles.
Hey, I'm flipping back and forth. I need to do. I can't do. I can't do that. But no.
Say that for the people on the back row that need to hear that. Say that.
Yeah, me and a friend talked about the other day. She's like, I had a preacher tell me. He's like, you need to come on in the church. I said, man, I'm a good person. You can't sit on the fence. I was like, no, You can't because your nuts are hurt. But mine ain't hurting because I'm not sitting on the fence. Okay. I am a good person. That's period. I don't have to come to church to be a good person. I don't have to follow and contribute tithes to be a good person. Right. All I have to do is know that my fellow man is my brother, and I'm going to be out there to help him. I don't have to do all that extra stuff.
Right. Absolutely. But I'm not even. But I'm not going to even touch that. That is just an absolute. So that's enough right there. You know, at the end of the day, I would have never thought that, you know, religion would be such the catalyst to separate life from humanity. It sucks the life out of humanity. Well, and it's like it's purposefully there to suck the life out of humanity.
Well, religion is a controlling factor. It's supposed to control humanity. It was right. Well, it's supposed. Religion itself is a controlling mechanism. Yeah. But being a spiritualist is you're not in anybody. You shouldn't be under.
You ain't supposed.
You're not under anybody's control.
Right.
But then you know what? I don't have any problems you serving and going to whatever service you want to go to or what be underneath somebody's protocol or whatever, but then don't make me feel some type of way because I don't subscribe to what you are doing. I don't like people telling me, because you are this, well, I don't think you should be because that's what the Holy Father. At the end of the day, you don't know the relationship that I have, and I don't subscribe to that type of nonsense. That's when I start turning things off. Like don't sell me a bag of goods.
Those statements are learned behaviors.
And that's a sad
and the majority of the thing that people expel into the universe is learned behaviors. Okay, they create what they've heard. They think that the church said this and that, so they create. They mix, and typically, unfortunately, it rises in so many unfortunate ways in the African American community. Because stuff that we come up with that we say that God said, God ain't never said none of that. But I don't know where y'all get that from. You got it.
There are over 200 books. Over 200 gospel books that we narrowed down to 80, and then the churches narrowed them down to 4. You can't tell me that everything was done by man for man. They changed them and manipulated them for each other. And when I tell people, God is within you. It's not where you go or who you talk to or who you connected to. It's within you. So what you choose to do and how you choose to live, it says a statement for who you are and how you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
So for these people all out here going, well, I go to church every Sunday, but on Saturday night, I'm hanging at the juke joint. But first thing Sunday morning, I'm up in church and I'm praising the Lord. Then Monday morning, I'm chasing after the girl at work. None of this makes sense. And all this, I say 4 or 5 Hail Marys and a thank you, Jesus. And now my beating my wife has gone away. I've cleansed my soul. Confessions don't help it. None of that's going to help it. You have to
your heart change.
Talk it.
Right. Not until your heart changes. This is why we got to move on. But this is why I think, and
that's
I put it out here. Hold on.
That's why she won gospel this year.
Stop.
The best gospel award. Don't say your point. Hurry up.
This is why I feel that the current Pope is going to do a lot of integrating and things that are going to change up under his administration. I just really think so, for a lot of different reasons. Not so much in the religious sector because he doesn't represent a certain religious belief. However, I think his humanity is going to outweigh the things that people have put on based on what his belief factor is. Okay, so I think that he has going to have a different touch and a voice in humanity to make some of these changes. They're not going to change everybody overnight. But it's some of the things that I think that we talk about on a regular basis, we will start seeing some of those things become different because he does have a different voice. And
for the Catholic Church, correct?
Well, I'm not speaking religion at this point. Catholic, yes, but he does have a voice. And that voice is a voice of the Spirit. Okay. And regardless of where you get that voice from, if you're speaking the true essence of that voice, just like you speak the truth. And you feel the presence of time. Charles speaks the truth and feels the presence of time. I speak the truth and feel the presence of time. But in its course, those that have an ear will hear. Those that don't won't. Okay. But I think that this man that has a gifting of God, okay, and a point of in his conversation of the way that he is able to break things down, that he breaks through this wall that people have. And now, if they aspire to be Catholics behind it, okay, let them be Catholic, But I don't think that his mission, and what I'm trying to say, is to try to convert people to Catholicism, at the end of the day. But anyway, let's move on.
All right.
Whatever got you here, Secretary Nome, I'm glad you found time among your many photo ops and costume changes to testify about why President Trump is seeking more taxpayer dollars and what you plan to do with that money if you get it.
Well, she's been rushed to the hospital today. She has had an allergic reaction to
Botox.
Religion is not a wall to hide behind to promote hate and evil. That's amen.
That's true.
Thank
Helen.
Thank you for that comment, because that is the truth.
Absolutely, the truth behind the truth.
That's the truth.
So that Kristen, I mean, she got in because she had that damn Botox that was getting her itching her face. So anyway,
it's probably something spiritual going on.
Well, that too. Well, it's spiritual in that shot. that shot injected some spiritualness in her lips.
That woman has done so much evil, bro, just evil. That ain't nothing but evil, and makeup and contour and big old hair. Mm-hmm. The saddest thing about that is, though, that she has broken up so many families through this immigration situation.
Unqualified.
And I don't know what's gonna be of her whereabouts when this is all said and done. Mm-hmm. The people on this one lady who has I follow her on Twitter, and she said some crazy stuff. She said, I wish her, because she's now in the hospital, but she said, I wish her
she's out now.
Everything that she has done at this point. I wish her everything that is not a positivity. That's what she was saying. I want to say the real word. I
hope she go back to the strip club like she came from. That would
there you go. Okay. All right.
Okay.
See here.
Gnome. What's a gnome?
Gnome. A gnome is one of the things you put in the yard.
Yeah, one of the little elves. Yeah.
Yeah, little elves. They just stick one of the little elves in the yard or whatever. But we're going to play next one, Charles. What Miss Gnome?
Gnome. All right, well, we got one more clip. You want me to run to that?
Yeah, go ahead, run her.
Have not presented any other evidence, nor has your department. Reclaiming my time, during your confirmation hearing, you said your focus would be on deporting immigrants who have been convicted of crimes and those who have received removal orders. But that is not what you have been doing. Instead, you have been deporting children with cancer, children who are U.S. citizens, a gay makeup artist who committed no crime and didn't even enter the country illegally. You have been sloppy. Your department has been sloppy. And instead of focusing on real criminals, you have allowed innocent children to be deported while you fly around the country playing dress up for the cameras. Instead of enforcing the laws, you have repeatedly broken them. You need to change course immediately before more innocent people are hurt on your watch.
Know too much of everything. See, that's the thing. Call her a DEI hire. That's what she is. You know what? That's where you need to stop sugarcoating it, because she don't know what she's doing. She is very sloppy. Right. She was hired to be sloppy. Mm-hmm. She was hired to be what she is, a sloppy individual who is an airhead. Because most women who work for this fool, who subscribe to this man, are airheads.
That's true.
There's nothing intellectual about these women at all.
That is said.
If he wanted intellectualism, he should have stuck with Nikki Haley, and probably she would have gotten him a little bit out of these situations. But no, he knew that he needed dumb women, because what does dumb women do? Follow dumb men. Thank you.
Well, Taco D is a genius. Taco D is a genius.
That's right. And you know what's so funny? The very people that he's throwing out, he loves his Taco Tuesdays. You know, he eats tacos and fried chicken and McDonald's and all this stuff. So you're throwing away the very people who eat this stuff and that you eat on your Air Force One or whoever, Trump Force, whatever. But the saddest thing about it is, though, this man is just as crazy. He's out of his effing mind right now.
Right.
And that military parade that he did this past weekend showed it. It showed it.
You know, between the gnome and
KKK Levitt,
okay,
the blonde KKK Levitt.
Oh my God!
Yeah, she's the biggest airhead and liar
Do you know ICE has spent $1 billion more than their budget already, and we're not even 6 months in. They spent $1 billion over their annual budget.
Yep, and they need a war to bring it back.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. That's why people. That's why. Countries go to war in the first place, because they need money to resurface back into.
Not only money.
Y'all this little FYI history situation. You want to know why Hitler needed to go to World War II? Because just like President Donald Trump, just like crazy Donald Trump, he spent so much money. He took so much money out of the German treasury that he knew in order to get that money back, he had to go invade other countries to get that money back into the reserve. So all the Jews that went into the concentration camp, he stole all the assets, all the money, all the properties and stuff. So he went into Poland, stole all the reserve. He went into France, stole all the money. Went and guess who was harboring all of this money? Guess
the Catholic Church.
No, wait a minute. Hold on, no. Guess who we call neutral all this time? Neutral Switzerland. Switzerland was getting all the money. And
the Catholic Church was hiding all of the doggone artifacts, the paintings and the gold.
Oh my God, but you are opening. I'm sorry, Charles. You're opening something very, very good about Switzerland and that money. But go ahead.
But see, I'm just saying.
Stay right there.
Trump is doing what Hitler did in the 30s. Germany didn't have all that money and all that resource, so he needed war bad, and he needed war to distract these situations from the German people, because inflation, they didn't have enough food coming through Germany. So what do we need? We need war. The same thing that's happening within these United States of America. There are stuff that is happening behind the scenes when it boils down to our reserve and to our situations with our economy.
Military industrial complex will pick up all the extra money we need. They're invested in it, so they get returns on their stocks. Everybody, you eliminate population, so you decrease the number of people.
It's getting hot in here.
And guess what got us up out of the Great Depression?
Oh, we having church, y'all. Go ahead, keep going.
Guess what got us up out of the Great Depression? World War II. That gave us a resurgence with our economy, and with everything that happened, we became the #1 power after World War II.
That's when women got to working at the factories and filling the jobs that men couldn't do because they were at war. Yeah.
Yes, rich people need war. They need war bad right now. They need war, and I hate to say it's us, average American people. We're sitting up here. Well, you know, this ain't bothering me. I ain't going through no deportation. They ain't touching me. Trust, you will be touched.
Yes, they're trying to get rid of birthright citizenship. If they take away birthright citizenship, you're vulnerable, because that's the only reason you're able to stay here. Birthright citizenship.
And we are going to war. We're going to war. We're going to war. I'm not going to sugarcoat. We are going to war, and y'all are sitting back here worrying about Puff Daddy and them. You better get off of Puff Daddy and worry about the fact that they might bring back the draft.
They just closed down Job Corps. 6,500 people. 6,500 people. Young folks don't have anywhere to go. Nothing. So Job Corps got shut down. Over 30 different stations. 6,500 kids or young adults have nowhere to go. Most of them have no homes. They've gotten Job Corps to have somewhere to live and learn something. Now they have nowhere to go.
Why not put them in the army to get them killed off? Perfect thing to institute the draft, and it's already been talked that the draft was already going to get, because he said that last time when he was in office that he would institute the draft if he had the
opportunity. Somebody with bone spurs who avoided the draft 4 or 5 times.
Right.
Yeah, but he wanted to do something with somebody else's kid.
Right.
But see, he's rich enough to do it, because who enlists who lists anyway? You got only poor whites and poor blacks.
Right.
But put Barron in there.
Oh please! Oh please! No. He's either autistic or he's just not always there. It won't work.
It's a combination.
It won't work. I'm so sorry about talking on somebody else's kids, but he talks on so many other people. Children. Why not? He can't. It's not like he cannot be touched. Right. And the fact that he could, Harvard says a whole lot about him and his parents than Obama, and because didn't Obama's oldest child get into Harvard?
Yes, he sure did.
Accomplished
graduates.
Okay, thank you. One is taking over the film industry. She doesn't want to put her name out there because she's doing so well in the film industry. She went to school for film
and changed the last name, which I don't blame her because she wants the credibility. But the saddest thing about it is that Barron couldn't get into it, but this girl could get into it.
That's why he's coaching Harvard. He's trying to run them in the ground because they wouldn't take Barron.
That's all right. And what happened to Columbia? Why not Princeton? Why not Georgetown?
Because Barack's kids went there. Barack's kids went there. That's why you can't do. He's so stuck on Barack. I think if Barack farted, his ears would pop. He's so far up his butt. I'm like, geez.
You know, while we bring this in, you know, the 14th, we had to, this past Saturday, we have to, you know, kind of wrap it up with that on what happened in the over 2,000 cities throughout the country hosted No King Day. No King Day. Okay. And I am so excited that they did. America, you send a message. Okay. Those of you that hadn't been on, you send a very clear message. I just, you know, I wish that was a point that you could have went back to the polls, okay, and rewrote what has happened, you know, at the end of the day. But it did send a message, and on social media, they sent another message. And this man do not know because they made it Barack Obama Appreciation Day. You know, and everywhere on social media that was connected, okay, in social media, they kept connecting his post. Every time you pull something, it was President Obama. President Obama.
Okay. I want to say truth behind the truth for all those black folk who we now know not to go out and protest, but I hope y'all are doing research while you're not protesting. You need to start doing researching on what's going on in your local and state while you're not protesting. Don't just sit back and act like, you know, well, you know, we don't have a dog in this fight, but you do have a dog in this fight because you need to get out. You need to understand this is a local and state as well as a federal situation. This beautiful bill that he said that Elon hates, I heard that he was going to try to overthrow the judicial system.
That along with cutting the VA benefits, along with the Board of Education, along with giving, I think it's $35 billion to ICE to cover up for the shit that's gone wrong. There's so much fat and pork up in that bill. And Elon got on this, what is it? What is he on that? Mescaline or whatever it is. He's on the Academy. Takes his Academy and gets to think and be like, you know what? No, you're on the Epstein's files. I know it. I saw your name on there. That's right. So the girls get to fighting on X back and forth over who ain't the best girl in the house, who's the most popular. And then I'm thinking to myself, you're spending $45 million on a parade. You cut the VA staff by 80,000 people. Come on, bro. We already backed up at the VA. I deal with mental wellness and from PTS, and man, it takes me months to get another appointment. That's crazy. Now you didn't cut the people. It's going to take even longer. We can't even get seen or worked on. He cut out our radiology departments that have been cut down for people with cancer. He's getting ready to start messing with our prescription drugs. And these people talking about he loved the service people. He loved the military. No, he don't.
It's just straight up bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is.
You know, it really is. And in that whole parade, not the whole parade based around him was bullshit. The parade itself wasn't, because it was to honor that situation of just fortunately but unfortunately fell upon a day that he grabbed it and manipulated it to his benefit, tried to make it to his benefit. But
Fox News added sound effects to it. Did you hear Fox? Fox added cheering and USA. Wasn't nobody out there that even make
nobody noise. There. Wasn't nobody there. Nobody.
Fox added crowd noise and everything to it.
The four people and his late family members. That was it.
His own supporters couldn't even afford a train ride or airplane.
They didn't want to go because they didn't want to look like fools.
Or the gas they couldn't afford. In Trump's economy, we should be all improving. We should be all thriving. We should be making money. Everybody should be having a job. Now that he has thrown out the illegals. I mean, you got construction jobs now. You better get to work. Because who's gonna start picking all of our veggies? You know, I'm walking into
building houses.
I'm walking into my stores and I'm seeing empty shelves. Little by little, I'm seeing empty shelves, and I'm saying to myself, is it because they don't have enough workers, or because there are things happening that I'm not, that I'm starting to notice that there is a shortage somewhere? Cause I went into Vons, I went into certain Walmarts, cause I service these stores. I went to some Albertsons, I went into some Ralphs. I had went and I'm seeing shortages little by little. It's like the shelves are emptying up a little bit. So
well,
okay.
Enough said.
Enough said.
It's happening. Well, as a point, guys, as always, this is your information highway. If you hear something you like, hear something you didn't like. That's okay, right. At the end of the day, this still is your information highway.
Our fault. It's not my fault. I live in the real world like everybody else. I go to work like everybody else. I'm just black as everybody.
Okay.
I want my freedom just like everybody else. Go ahead. Here's what you're saying.
So, we really, this is an opportunity for you guys to really just assess your own thinking of what you do, and again, share this show, share it, like it. Okay. If you know some people that fall in the category of what we talked about, share the show. Okay. It's out here, and it's out here. I keep saying it. I will keep saying it. We've been saying this stuff to you for 5 years. Okay. Not this in particular, but variations of topics that have pinpointed us up to this particular day.
But if you want us to talk about pullout games,
I think
that's so important these days because it will save you money to pull out. I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm not trying to be nasty. But if you're thinking about something else and you're nasty and you need to go to church and pray, pull out means money. It could mean anything you would want. But if you're thinking about that, you need to go pray and get your Bible and clean your mind. Go listen to
get your life right.
Presence that will help you.
That's right. Get your life right.
Get your life right. Pull out.
Anyway, so want to ask you to support us as always. Cash App information and all of our support venues are before you on the screen. Please
pull out
anything that we need to address or let us know. You can always send us an email to ttbttshow@gmail.com. We still have mugs available for you as well. All right, mugs are what's it, $5.99? Yeah, $5.99.
But if you like to pull out, it'd be $2.99. I'm just saying. Stop. Pull out.
Stop. Let's see.
I ain't saying nothing. I just said pull out.
All right. Anyway, it's time to move on. Anyway, we will see you guys right back here again next week on The Truth Behind the Fruit. We thank you for taking the time out for your comments and those that shared tonight. Please do that if you view this again and you're coming in late with us an email. All right.
Pull out. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, finish. We will see you next time at what? The Truth. Come on, Charles.
The truth behind the truth.
Bye, y'all.
Oh man, y'all done got me messed up. I'm up here cracking up.